given this as homework yesterday. So let's have a look here. Students designed a ride for the school fair. The ride is a cart that rolls down a ramp. The cart must stop less than 50 meters past the bottom of the ramp. The students separately test for design changes. The table shows the test results for each change. Which solution should the students make? Sorry. Okay, who can tell me what's the answer? Which one should the students make? Hun.
I think this is C.
Why is it C?
Because they said that the rat is a cart that rolls down a ramp. The cart must stop less than 15 meters. And C is the road will surface, and there's only 12.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Now, what I want you to think about here is, what is the criteria of this question? What's the criteria of building the solution? Nuv, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Nuv, what is the criteria of this solution?
Road will surface.
No, that's the answer. What's the criteria?
Criteria is the cart must stop less than 15 meters.
Yeah, perfect. That's the exact right answer. So the answer is that the cart must stop less than 15 meters. So the criteria is, when you're building something, this is what you need it to do. In this case, what you need this to do is to stop with before 15 meters. Okay. Oh dear. Here we go. Good job. Okay. So
I'm in Monaco watching the marble race.
what?
I'm in Monaco watching the marble.
The marble. What? What are you talking about, Winter?
I am in Monaco to watch marble race.
Oh,
wait,
great. Okay, Lily. Okay. Yeah, so as I was saying, research is very important. It allows us to get many ideas and to get numerous ways in order to fix it. We can look at nature in the past to improve on designs, to make designs better, for example. Okay, so after we've identified the problem, we've done our research, what's next? Hun.
We gonna identify the problem.
Now we've already identified the problem. That's the first thing. First thing is identify the problem. Next thing is do research. What do we do next?
I think of many solutions and draw one out.
Yeah, okay, so what's the name for that? What's the name we give that? One word, begins with D, 6 letters. Ends in N. Okay, Kimmy, what do we do next?
Design.
Yeah, design, okay, so we design the problem, or the solution, sorry. So we've identified the problem, we've done our research, now it's time to design. Why do you think it is important to have more than one design for a solution? Aldi, why is it important to have more than one design for a solution?
What is it? I mean,
Aldi,
okay.
why is it important to have more than one design? At what step you are and what step comes next is how I need you to think going forwards. Because if you can think about where you are in the design process, it's going to make it easier for you to decide what you are going to do next. Okay, does anybody have any questions at this moment in time? You should have loads of questions. You should always have questions. And not just questions about me, questions about science. Okay, let's jump into a question. Okay. The school is building a new playground. Each class can pick an item to go into the playground. After thinking of ideas, a class decides that a treehouse would be fun to have in the playground. Identify what the class should do next. Let's stop for a second. Let's not think about what they're going to do next. Let's think about what they've done. So, Han, what have they done?
They can choose the item they want in the playground.
Okay, so let's think about that design process again. What steps have they done already?
They can step identify the problem.
Yeah, identify the problem. Cool. What other steps have they done? Kimmy, they identified the problem and they did one more as well. Yeah, they did some exploring, right? So, Winter, what exploring did they do?
They the explore that they do is putting a tree house in the playground.
No. Okay. Let's look at this question again. Okay. So, the school is building a new playground. So, this is where we're going to identify the problem. The problem that we said is, okay, the school's going to build a new playground. What can we choose to help the playground think better? So after thinking of ideas, a class decides that a treehouse would be fun to have in the playground. Identify what the class should do next. So after thinking of ideas, so what the class has done is they've done research, right? They've gone in, they've decided, okay, hold on. What's some things that would be really good for this playground? So the problem is what goes into the playground. And the next thing, they've done research into what they think would be best to go into the playground. So there's two steps there. They know what the problem is, what goes in. And two, they've done research to find out what exactly is best for that playground. What is the best solution? So what do you think is the next step? What's the next thing they're going to do? And let's try Baldy. You're very quiet today. Baldy, tell me, what's the next step?
What's the next step? We should think about I mean the limits. Yeah.
Okay. Baldy, let me ask you a question, okay? If
Okay.
a class, okay, I don't think you're wrong, but I would question the fact that if you think about the class coming up with ideas about what they should do and what they should design, if they already know that they can build a tree house, wouldn't a limit or constraint be that they need a tree to build a tree house?
Yeah.
So do you think they've thought about that already?
No.
No, they just decided, okay, look, we've got a playground, let's build a tree house. We don't have any trees in our playground. How are we going to build a tree house?
We think about the trees, but what about the weight? What if it's heavy weight? What if it's overweighted and it crushed?
Okay, so again, Baldy, let's just take what you've just said there. You spoke about weight, you've talked about, people falling, you get crushed. What do engineers do to try to get around that? What do they do?
Get some steel poles.
Okay, how do they know to use steel poles?
Because steel is strong.
Okay, but how do they know where the steel poles are going to go?
Steel poles are gonna go under the tree house.
Okay, how would that look?
It would look like a tree with a house and some poles in it.
Okay, so what would you do to show me that?
I don't have a drawing.
There we go. You do a drawing. Thank you very much, Baldy. You got there eventually. So, thank you, Baldy, for being my guinea pig and proving that you need to design something first. So, the next step in this is, for me, I would do a couple things first. Now, they've already done research, they've already planned, but at the same time, I would still do some research about tree houses and the materials that you will need to build them. So, as we said before, what we need to do is find out what materials will work. As Baldy said, steel will be very good. It's good, it's strong. It's going to help us support our treehouse. So do some research, find out what tree houses have existed, which ones are better, which ones are the most safe, which ones use steel, which ones don't use steel. Maybe steel is not available. Okay, now we've done our research. I would then say design multiple solutions to what the treehouse will look like, where the materials go, where tree house will go, and have more ideas if this, sorry, work. Okay, so that is what I would do next. I would make sure that I've done research into one, how to actually build a treehouse. Who knows how to build a treehouse? Anyone here can tell me how to build a treehouse? No, I have no idea how to build a treehouse. Not a clue. Hun, you know how to build a treehouse?
Yes, you buy a house for the dog and then you put in the tree. There you
Okay,
go.
so if you want a treehouse, all I need to do is get you a dog kennel, put it in a tree, and you can go be a dog in a tree.
A dog house, but it's still a house. So we can call it tree house.
No. Yes, Winter. Do you know how to build a treehouse?
I think we need bunch of wood, and then we cut into, or we just build it.
I don't know. That kind of sounds like you're making a fire. If you get a bunch of wood and you cut it up, you can probably make a fire the exact same way. So, Winter, I don't trust you to build a treehouse. You might end up just starting a fire. No. Okay, so they are the steps that I would take. So, once again, we looked at our design process. We identified the problem. We did some research. There's no harm in doing a bit more research to make sure you know what you're doing. And then you are going to start designing what your solution is. Okay, let's look at the next question. Kinga's family built a treehouse. So Kinga's family actually knows how to build tree houses, which is good. Maybe the school should talk to her. Kinga's family built a treehouse in the backyard. The family bought wood and nailed it together, but the treehouse was too small for Kinga. Identify 2 steps of the design process that Kinga's family skipped. So, what did Kinga's family forget to do?
They forget to identify the problem.
Yeah, exactly. So, let's write something there. Definitely, 100%. I don't like pink. What in particular about identify the problem did they forget to look at? So there's one thing in there. Because they knew they were going to build a treehouse, right? So that's part of the problem. There's something in identify the problem they forgot to do. Pumpkin, what else? What did they forget to do when they were looking at identify the problem?
Can you speak? One more time the question. My internet is invisible.
Yeah, it's invisible. All internet is invisible. Thank God. Imagine you saw internet walking around everywhere. That would be really scary. Okay, so what I said, Pumpkin, was that Kinga's family forgot to identify the problem. What exactly in identify the problem did they forget to look at? Remember, it's too small for Kinga. So what did they forget to look at?
That they forget to look at the
base of the house, and
So what would you call that? If I told you you needed to build a tree house which is this big and this tall and this wide, what's that called?
I don't remember.
Okay, Kimmy, what's that called?
I don't know, but I know identify the problem. The problem is the tree house is too small.
Yeah. So what? So let's take that idea. Okay, so we know that they forgot to identify the problem. That they made a tree house that's too small. What did they forget to do in identify the problem? Winter. What did they forget to do?
I think they forgotten to design.
Okay, let's get to that in a second. So in this section, okay. So her family forgot about one of the main steps in this part of the process is looking at criteria and constraints. So if the treehouse is too small for Kinga, they did not think about, okay, well, hold on now. If Kinga is 1 meter, 20 centimeters tall, and I build a treehouse which is 1 meter, 10 meters, or 1 meter, 10 centimeters tall, she's not going to fit. If they thought about the criteria of what Kinga needs for the treehouse, it would have been fine. If they remembered that the limits of the treehouse that they are building is only 1 meter tall, well, then it's not going to fit Kinga, is it? So they've completely forgot to look at the criteria and the constraints of their design process, right? Okay, what else? What else did they forget to do? Hacker, what else did they forget to do?
What?
What else did they forget to do?
What did you say?
So, Kinga's family built a treehouse. It was too small.
Yes.
They forgot 2 steps in the design process. One was identifying the problem. What's another step they forgot to do?
I think that they forgot to try out.
To test it. Well, they built it and they tested it and it didn't work. So they definitely did test it. What else did they forget to do?
They forgot.
Sorry, say again, Hacker.
Did they forgot to research them?
To research it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I can say they forgot. Yeah, maybe they forgot to research it as well. So they didn't research. If they did, they probably have remembered to build the tree larger. What's something else that they forgot to do? One more thing. Katie, can you hear me? Can you speak? Okay, Lambi, what else did they forget to do? Lambi, what else did they forget? Okay, Rosie, what else did they forget to do? So what's something you're going to do? If you're looking to make something, you're going to do what to make sure it's the right size before you start to build?
So I will try and make plans.
Yes, you're going to design it, right?
Yeah.
You're going to design it, and you're probably going to put in how big this section is. So you can also say they didn't design it. There's lots and lots of things they forgot to do. So they didn't identify the problem. They didn't look at the criteria and constraints. They didn't do research, and they didn't design it properly. They just built it. If they'd done any of these steps, they probably would have built it correctly. Okay. So any one of those reasons is they would have gone ahead and actually done this the right way. Okay, does anybody have any questions about that? Does anybody think that they missed anything else? Okay, does everyone understand how we went about that? Does everyone understand those differences? If you don't understand this, go back to the homework I gave you the other day and have a look at each of these steps. Remember these steps, they're very important. They're going to help you so much with understanding this unit, and especially when it comes to test time, understanding where each of these steps go in the design process and knowing that at this point it's kind of a cycle to continually make it better and better and better is where you want to be looking and where you want to be making sure you're paying most attention. Okay, let's have a look at this. Here is your homework for this evening, okay? So, Jim put a toy on a car ramp, the car slowly moved down the ramp. What was it about the ramp surface that caused the car to move slowly? How could Jim change the ramp surface to get the car to move faster? Write your answer on the lines below. I want you to think about the design process that we went through. Think about all the steps we went through. Think about what Jim's next step would be.